Last night's storm had lasted many notches, but the early tinge of dawn promised a clear day. Hopping off the last step, Jenna's bare feet squelched into mud. Only Usul was out. He sat in meditation. A number of Lulu warblers had gathered on the railing close to the night. They were all hushed, perhaps out of respect, but more likely curiosity. Trying to keep her squishing quiet, Jenna followed a ribbon of butterflies into the forest. It had become customary for Greer to make himself available in the early notches, and Jenna was looking forward to a conversation where she had him all to herself. She glanced back at the copse they had all come to call the dormitory. Infused with post-storm pungency, the breeze ruffled her hair and splayed her shakai, summoning blossoms from branches and dandelion seeds from their stalks. They had been in Ardeka for less than 2 weeks. How quickly it had become home. Jenna picked a ginga fruit. The citrus flavour reminded her of Owana's Kalati and his desire to hear her stories. She wondered why he was so interested in Master Grun, and reflected that her eyes no longer stung at the mention of her former teacher's name. Owana was widely believed to be destined to be the next venerable of his order. His vision of Jenna's party's arrival had distinguished him from his peers. Jenna wanted to know how he had developed this ability, but since he was still suffering celibacy and had sequestered himself, this was one of the questions Jenna hoped Greer could answer. Arriving on the ledge, Jenna was disappointed to see that Greer was not available. Lying on his belly some distance away, he already conversed with somebody. Dropping below the lip, plumes of mud coated her legs upon landing below. So much for approaching respectfully, she thought. Greer glanced in her direction, but continued talking with a lady who stood on a small rocky mound. She was a vision of elegance draped in a blue sheen. There was something familiar about her. Jenna's legs were swishing through long stalks. She wanted to rush forward. How had this woman come to be in Ardeka? Did she know a quick way out? But the lady's discussion with the Grand High Ardekon was so poised, so regal, that it would be very disrespectful to intrude. Electing instead to wait, Jenna let the rising sun caress her skin, trying not to stare. The earlier sheen was a pale blue robe that drifted with grace. Her eyes were brilliant blue, her flowing tresses seemed spun from gold, and when she laughed, Jenna was inspired to laugh too, her spirits lifting higher than they were already. She was a vision of beauty, perhaps what the goddess Saisha might look like, and this was not a poor comparison, for the most striking and yet somehow the most subtle trait about her was that she was, from head to naked toes, completely transparent. The light of the sun shone through her so that she cast no shadow. The conversation seemed to end. The lady looked at Jenna, a deep, knowing, penetrating gaze, and Jenna's innermost thoughts were hers alone, no more. But there was no judgment in those unfathomable eyes, no reprisal, only love and acceptance. The blue lady smiled at her, like a sister might smile at her, sharing a girlish but treasured secret. She waved, shimmered and faded, leaving the enormous Ardekon alone. Greer's scales were granite with seams of white and orange and speckles that were the colours of autumn leaves. "Who was that mysterious and beautiful lady?" Jenna asked. Tarsis spoke of her. He said she guided him. Lurin spoke of her. She sent him to join our party, and I know I have met her before, somewhere. "She is an ancient one, a soul who has seen the rise and fall of kings and queens. She is someone you will meet again, sometime on your journey, when the time is right for you to enter each other's circles. What is her name? She is known to us as Nelive of the Elexilaire.